The Galactic Council meeting was being broadcast live to billions across the stars. Dozens of alien species sat in their seats, their faces cold, their eyes unblinking. At the center of the vast chamber, the lights dimmed, and the high speaker stood. With a deep and robotic voice, the speaker said the words that shocked the galaxy. By the vote of the Council, Earth is hereby banned from all interstellar relations, effective immediately. There was silence. No cheers, no outrage, just silence, cold and heavy. On the far end of the hall, 5 human ambassadors stood up. Their faces were calm, but their eyes burned with anger. Ambassador Lena Voss, the lead representative for Earth, clenched her fists. But she said nothing. Not yet. This betrayal was too much. Just 1 year ago, humanity had helped stop a deadly plague that was sweeping through the galaxy. Billions could have died. Earth's scientists worked day and night to create a cure, and they gave it freely. They asked for no payment, no reward, just peace. But now, instead of being honored, Earth was being punished. The Council accused humanity of genetic interference. They claimed Earth's cure altered the biology of other species, that humans had no right to change alien DNA, even if it saved lives. But this was a lie, a cover-up. The real reason was fear. Humans were advancing too fast. In just a few decades, Earth had gone from a new space-faring species to one of the most intelligent and powerful. Their ships were faster. Their AI systems were smarter. Their soldiers were disciplined and brave. And the old powers of the galaxy didn't like that. Behind closed doors, a secret alliance of alien empires had formed. They whispered lies about humans. They planted fake reports. They twisted facts. And now, they had succeeded in turning the whole council against Earth. As the ambassadors turned to leave, one of the council members, an old reptilian general from the Thrax Empire, spoke out loud. Earth must learn its place. Lena Voss stopped walking. For a moment, the room held its breath. Then she looked back over her shoulder and replied in a low, calm voice. We did learn our place. We offered help. We brought peace. And you spat in our face. The room remained quiet. Lena continued walking, followed by her team. As the doors of the council chamber opened, the youngest human diplomat, Malik, whispered to no one in particular. We'll be back. You won't see it coming. The doors closed behind them. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. People were shocked, then furious. The same galaxy Earth had helped now treated them like criminals. Trade routes were shut down. Human colonies on other planets were cut off. Supplies stopped arriving. Earth's students and scientists were expelled from alien academies. Protests broke out in major cities. Some wanted revenge. Others called for peace. But all of humanity agreed on one thing. They had been betrayed. President Cal Monroe stood before the United Nations Council in Geneva. His voice was calm but firm. We gave them everything we had. Our minds, our technology, our compassion. And they betrayed us. This is not the end. This is a beginning. We will not beg. We will not kneel. We will rise. Behind the scenes, Earth's military began working in secret. Plans that had been hidden for years were reopened. Old black-budget projects were reactivated. Humanity began to prepare, not for war, but for something greater. They knew the galaxy wouldn't see them coming. The Council had made a mistake. They thought Earth would break under pressure. But Earth was not weak. It was quiet, watching, waiting. Meanwhile, across the stars, strange things began to happen. A small outpost near the Orion Belt went dark. No one knew why. A cargo ship traveling through the Halix corridor disappeared without a trace. The only clue left behind was a human coin floating in space. The Council began to worry. Could Earth already be fighting back? No. Impossible, they thought. Earth was outnumbered, outgunned, alone. But fear was growing. And in the shadows of a forgotten system, deep within the void, a human ship waited, silent, invisible, and ready. Earth was not finished. They had been wronged, and they were just getting started. 3 weeks after Earth was banished from the Galactic Council, the Andrix mining colony, a massive operation home to over 90,000 alien workers, went completely silent. No alarms, no distress call, just silence. The colony's lights were out, communication towers were dead. Patrol ships sent to investigate found the station still floating, but empty. Not a single life form, only the sound of cold space pressing against metal walls. On the command deck of the investigating ship, Captain Trell of the Zircon Empire stared at a strange mark scratched into the wall near the airlock. It was a symbol no alien had ever seen before, but humans knew it well. It was the old Earth military logo, red, scared, and clawed with 3 lines below it. No one knew how it got there. Fear spreads in the galaxy. Across the galaxy, rumors began to spread like wildfire. Earth has begun its revenge. They've created silent weapons. They strike without warning. The Council tried to calm things down. They called it a technical failure, saying the Andrix colony suffered from a reactor malfunction. But the people didn't believe them, especially when a second incident happened. This time, it was a deep space cargo freighter traveling through the Halix corridor. The ship vanished mid-transmission. Its last message was a voice, frantic and gasping. "They're here. No signals. They're not using ships. I can't." Then static. Later, only one thing was recovered, a single human-made bullet, embedded in a piece of twisted metal. A message without words. Ambassador Drekthulin, one of the leading voices who voted against Earth, was found in his private residence, unharmed, but shaken. The guards reported no break-in, no sound, no trace. But above his bed, the words, "We remember," were burned into the wall using a heat signature that matched no known weapon. He left the council the next morning, resigned from his position, and vanished into exile. The council was now afraid. Something was happening. Something human. The human fleet that doesn't exist. Unknown to the council, far from any known star map, there was a planet that didn't exist on records. No satellite ever scanned it. No maps listed it. Orbiting this hidden world were ships, hundreds of them. Black metal. No insignias. No call signs. They didn't glow. They didn't hum. They were quiet. These ships were part of Earth's secret project, Operation Vindicta, a plan that had started the very day Earth joined the Galactic Council years ago. Human generals always feared something like this would happen. That one day, the galaxy would turn against them. So they prepared. The hidden fleet was trained in stealth warfare, signal jamming, silent movement, and psychological tactics. No flashy battles, just disappearances. Their mission wasn't war, it was a warning. Inside a black ship, Commander Area West stood on the deck of the human warship Ghost Fang. Her eyes scanned a dozen screens, each showing live footage of key council worlds. Target 2 neutralized. No deaths, just a message, said her officer. She nodded. Good, keep it that way. We're not here to destroy them. Not yet. Just make them feel what betrayal tastes like. Do you think they'll listen? Her second-in-command asked. Area gave a cold smile. They will. Silence speaks louder than speeches. A fractured council. The council chamber wasn't united anymore. Leaders shouted over one another. Some demanded an attack on Earth. Others wanted peace talks. But the truth was clear. No one knew where Earth's forces were, or how many existed, or what they would do next. Fear cracked the alliance between powerful species. A few secretly reached out to human channels, offering apologies and requesting peace. Earth ignored them. Not yet. Back on Earth, President Kel Monroe stood in a secure command center, watching everything through a glass screen. He spoke softly to his advisors. "We are not monsters. We are not conquerors. But we will not be disrespected ever again." They silenced us in the council. Now they get to live in our silence. He turned to General Harkin. "Send the next message. No blood. Just fear." Final scene. Suspense builds. On a remote council-controlled moon, a small group of workers watched the night sky. A shadow passed over them. No sound. Just something large, too large, blocking the stars. Then it was gone. Moments later, every screen on the moon blinked on, showing the same text. Earth Watishes. U Shehos ETS. The screens blinked off. One of the aliens dropped his tool and whispered, "We should have never betrayed them." On the dark side of a rogue planet, hidden far beyond the edge of the known galaxy, something massive moved. Not a creature. A ship. No, not one ship. A fleet. Black metal. Smooth, sharp, and quiet. No lights. No names. Just silence. Each ship was a ghost. Each weapon had no heat signature. No trace of its presence. They didn't travel through normal space. They slid through the shadows between systems. This was not the Earth, the Council remembered. This was Project VINDICTA, and its army was finally waking up. A secret years in the making. The betrayal of Earth hadn't caught everyone by surprise. Years ago, before Earth joined the Galactic Council, some human leaders had worried this day might come. They had read history. They had seen what fear and jealousy could do. So, in the background, away from cameras, politics, and alien diplomats, Earth's defense leaders created a hidden project, VINDICTA, the Latin word for revenge. They built hidden shipyards deep under Mars, beneath the ice moons of Jupiter, and inside drifting asteroids beyond Pluto. They recruited soldiers, not thousands, but hundreds, handpicked, trained in secret, and enhanced with technology Earth had never shared with anyone. These weren't normal humans. They were the Ghost Force. Meet the commander. Commander Area West walked the deck of her flagship, the Eclipse. She wore black armor laced with dark silver. Her eyes, once blue, now glowed faintly white, a result of Neuralink implants that gave her instant access to battle data, maps, and enemy positions. She didn't shout. She didn't smile. She simply said, "Begin." And across a dozen systems, Earth's army moved, all without firing a single shot. In the Vera system, a weapons factory belonging to a council member shut down when every robot inside malfunctioned. In the Olan sector, an alien warlord woke up to find his ship floating in the wrong orbit. Every crew member asleep, every weapon offline, and a human message written on the ceiling. Let this be your only warning. Why didn't the Council know? The Council had grown lazy and arrogant. They believed Earth needed them, that humans couldn't survive alone. They had no idea Earth had already mastered signal blocking, quantum drives, and stealth shielding. Technology Earth had kept hidden. Now, the Council's own spies couldn't detect human movements. Their surveillance systems failed without explanation. Every time they tried to track Earth's actions, their screens showed nothing. And that's what scared them the most. You can't fight what you can't see. The Ghost Force. In a secret briefing room inside the Eclipse, the Ghost Force sat in silence. No laughter, no noise, just focus. Each soldier was linked directly to the ship's eye. Their minds moved faster. Their reaction times were inhuman. They didn't carry flags. They didn't wear ranks. Their only mission was clear. Strike only when the message matters. Commander West stood before them. "This is not war. This is memory," she said. "They forgot who helped them. Let's remind them, without words." The first test. The Kralin outpost, known for mocking Earth after the Council's decision, was chosen as the first example. The Ghost Force didn't destroy it. They landed silently, shut down power grids, locked doors, removed weapons. No one died. Then they left a single tablet behind. When the Krylon guards woke up, the tablet played a short video, a human child offering water to an alien during the plague, followed by council members voting Earth out, and finally, the words, "We remember, do you?" The galaxy started listening. Fear spreads faster than fire. Across council space, fear grew. Some species began evacuating outer colonies. Others blamed each other. One even launched missiles at their neighbor, thinking they were hiding human forces. But humans weren't there. They didn't need to be. The idea of Earth's army was enough to cause panic. Earth's true strength was never numbers. The Council had more ships, more soldiers, more allies, but Earth had something more powerful: unity, focus, and memory. They remembered every insult, every betrayal, every ambassador dragged out of the council chamber. And now they answered, not with fire, but with silence, shadows, and control. Final scene. Quiet before the storm. Commander West stood on the bridge of her ship. Stars drifted by outside the glass. Her officer turned to her. "We've made our point. What's next?" She stared at the map of council space. "Next," she said, "we remind them what peace could have been." The stars reflected in her eyes. "Then we take it away, piece by piece." The giant Chthonian warship, Titan's Roar, was the pride of the Krogoth Empire. A floating fortress of immense power, it had the firepower to wipe out entire fleets in minutes. Its armor was impervious, its weapons unmatched. But even the mightiest giants have weak spots. And Earth had learned how to strike where it hurt. A silent signal. In the farthest reaches of Krogoth space, the Titan's Roar was heading home after a victory. The warship's engines hummed, and its crew celebrated their latest conquest. The ship was too big to hide, too powerful to be challenged. But then, its communications system flickered. A brief signal appeared on the screen, encrypted so deeply that even the Krogoth technicians couldn't understand it. But they recognized one thing. The signal was human. "This is your only warning. Leave the galaxy. Now." Before they could react, the lights in the ship flickered again. And then, the power shut down completely. A giant stumbles. The Krogoth Empire had boasted that no one could harm their flagship. They were wrong. For the past 3 weeks, the Earth fleet had been studying the Titan's Roar. Using covert methods, they had infiltrated the Krogoth communications, studied their movements, and learned everything about the warship's systems. Then they launched a single, targeted strike, an EMP burst aimed at the Titan's Roar's core systems. The entire ship lost power. The crew tried to react. They tried to turn on emergency systems, but it was too late. Earth's message had already been delivered. The Krogoth Empire, once so proud, had just lost its strongest weapon. Silently, without firing a single shot. Back at the heart of the galaxy, news of the Titan's Roar falling silent spread like wildfire through the council. The Krogoth Empire was humiliated, but no one spoke of the real reason for its failure. The Titan's Roar was just the first step. Earth was showing them all something they had never seen before. True power didn't come from size or strength. It came from intelligence, from silence, from the ability to strike at the heart without a single blow. But not everyone was ready to admit that yet. The galaxy's old powers were still blind to the growing threat. A quiet retreat. Inside the council chambers, a high-ranking diplomat from the Thrax Empire, General Skoln, stood up. "We have underestimated Earth," he growled, his reptilian voice hissing with fury. "We thought they were weak, but now we know. They are a force we cannot ignore." There was a murmur of agreement from the other delegates. But despite the growing tension, the Galactic Council could not unite. They were divided. Some still wanted to destroy Earth. Others saw Earth's power and decided it was better to try to negotiate, to end the hostilities before things escalated further. But the humans weren't interested in talks anymore. Commander West's plan. Back aboard the Eclipse, Commander Area West watched the reports from the Krogoth battle unfold. She stood at the edge of the command deck, looking out at the cold, empty space. A quiet smile crept across her face. "We've sent a message," she said softly. "But it's only the beginning." Her second-in-command, Captain Darnell, stepped forward. "What's next?" "Now we make them regret everything they've ever done to us," she replied. "We'll take down the rest of them, one by one, without them knowing what hit them." She paused, her eyes narrowing as she glanced at the stars outside. "We'll do it without war, without bloodshed, but they will know fear like never before. The hidden army." As the fleet moved deeper into the heart of Council space, the Ghost Force prepared for their next target. Their mission was clear: to strike at the heart of the galaxy's biggest empires, not with guns or bombs, but with tactics that would tear apart the foundation of their power. Earth wasn't just seeking revenge. They were proving a point: you do not hurt humanity and walk away unscathed. Across different systems, Earth's silent warriors slipped in and out of enemy spaceports, disabling weapon systems, broadcasting human messages across communication networks, and leaving the Council worlds in chaos. Unable to track their enemy, unable to retaliate. A Council divided. The Council began to fracture. While some still clung to old ideas of power, others started to see the writing on the wall. Earth was no longer the weak species they had once believed it to be. They were something more. Something dangerous. But the Council couldn't agree on how to respond. Some wanted to negotiate with Earth, but others refused, insisting that Earth needed to be punished. The debate raged on, but in the shadows, Earth's forces were already winning. A final warning. Back on Earth, President Cal Monroe stood in front of a hologram. It was a message to the Galactic Council, broadcast across all systems. "You thought you could break us. You thought we were weak. You were wrong. We offered you peace, and you chose war. Now we will make you regret that decision, not with weapons, but with the power of silence. You will hear our message, and it will never stop." He turned off the hologram and faced his advisors. "Now we wait. The galaxy will hear us, and when they do, they'll understand." Final scene. The fall begins. As the last words of the message echoed through the vastness of space, a single Earth ship, the Eclipse, drifted silently toward the heart of the Krogoth Empire. A new storm was coming, and this time no one would see it. The galaxy was changing. Slowly, quietly, but undeniably. Earth's message had spread like a virus, infecting every corner of the Galactic Council. There were no battles, no massive warships colliding in space. Instead, there was something far worse. Fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what Earth could do next. And now, the galaxy's greatest leaders were starting to realize that the price of silence was higher than they ever imagined. A giant makes its move. Deep within the heart of Krogoth space, the Empire's capital planet, Krogothar, was home to millions of soldiers, government officials, and powerful leaders. The Krogoth Empire had long prided itself on its strength, but now it faced the impossible. Earth had not only defeated their prized flagship, the Titan's Roar, but had also crippled their entire communication network. And Earth had done it silently. On Krogothar's throne, Emperor Torg had watched every report from the front lines with rising fury. His greatest weapon, the Titan's Roar, had fallen without a shot fired. The humiliation was unbearable. But Torg was a cunning leader. He knew that they couldn't just ignore Earth anymore. They couldn't wait for Earth to come to them. They had to act first. He made a call to his closest generals. "Prepare for battle. The time for silence is over." A sudden change. At the same time, across the galaxy, humans watched and waited. Commander Area West stood on the bridge of the Eclipse, her eyes locked on the endless stars outside the ship's viewport. They were moving deeper into Krogoth space, but her mind was not focused on the destination. It was focused on the galaxy-wide response to Earth's silent war. "They're waking up," she said to Captain Darnell, her voice calm but filled with purpose. Darnell nodded. "The Krogoths won't stand by much longer." "No, they won't," Arya agreed. "And when they strike, we'll be ready." She had been watching, tracking every movement from the Krogoth Empire, and it was clear they had underestimated humanity. They thought Earth could be silenced with a vote in a council chamber. But Earth had no need for the council's approval. It had its own strength now. The hidden cost. While Earth's forces were making their moves in the shadows, a different kind of battle was being fought on the home front. The price of silence was becoming apparent. President Cal Monroe sat in a dimly lit room with his closest advisors. The room was heavy with tension. They had already lost so much: resources, allies, and time. Their quiet campaign against the galaxy had not come without a cost. "We are pushing them into a corner," Cale said softly. "The longer we stay silent, the more we risk. They will strike back. We have no choice but to hit them harder." The advisors were silent, knowing the price of what Cale was suggesting. A war could erupt at any moment, and this time there would be bloodshed. But for now, the silence would continue. The silent message. Meanwhile, in the heart of council space, the Galactic Council had decided to act. After the fall of the Titan's roar and the increasing frequency of Earth's untraceable attacks, the leaders knew that something needed to be done. But they still didn't understand who they were truly up against. They had hoped that the Council would bring peace to the galaxy, but instead, it had become a prison of its own making. Earth wasn't the threat they thought. Earth was the ghost in the machine. No one could predict where the next strike would come from. No one knew what Earth would do next. But they did know one thing. Earth's silence had become louder than any battle cry. The Krogoth Empire strikes back. The Krogoth Empire could take no more. Emperor Torg sent out the order to launch a full-scale attack on Earth's positions. It was a desperate move, but the Krogoths had no other choice. The galaxy had to see that they were still in control. They would send a fleet, a massive fleet, the kind of fleet that could wipe out entire systems, with enough firepower to eliminate even the smallest traces of Earth's secret forces. But the Krogoths made one fatal mistake. They underestimated Earth's preparation. The trap is set. Commander Arya West had predicted this move. She knew that the Krogoths would strike with everything they had. They always did. And she knew Earth's forces weren't large enough to win a direct battle. But they didn't need to win a battle. They needed to set a trap. Across the Krogoth Empire, Earth's Ghost Force silently began to strike key supply lines and military bases. They did it without a single shot. They disrupted communications. They manipulated enemy movements. They triggered the Krogoth fleet into a mass panic. Each disruption created chaos, pushing the Krogoths into an attack they couldn't control. By the time the Krogoth fleet arrived at Earth's border, they were already too late. The trap was set. The silent storm. The Krogoth fleet entered Earth's territory. But what they didn't know was that Earth was already waiting. In the shadows. In the silence. Without firing a single shot, Earth's fleet began to dismantle the Krogoth forces, one ship at a time. Using stealth tactics, disabling weapon systems, and crippling shields, they rendered the mighty Krogoth fleet powerless. The price of their silence was now clear. The Krogoth Empire was defeated, not in a battle, but in a whisper. Final scene. The future of silence. On Earth, President Cal Monroe watched the Krogoth fleet retreat into the void. The silent war had shifted in their favor, but he knew the cost. The galaxy had been warned, and now it was up to them to decide if they wanted peace or to face the price of continued silence. "This isn't over," Cale said softly to his advisors. They all knew it. Earth had won the battle, but the war for the galaxy's future was just beginning.